Winter in the Pacific Northwest? It can be challenging. Hi, I'm Arlecier West, and welcome to King County at your service. Severe storms can be dangerous in Western Washington, but there are steps you can take to keep your family and your community safe.
Here in the Pacific Northwest, we learn to prepare for all kinds of weather. Freezing temperatures, high winds, and heavy snow and rain can come with little warning. In fact, long power outages and road closures are the most common emergency situations that we face here. Hi, I'm Meredith from Public Health Seattle and King County. Today I'm going to help you learn how to prepare for extreme weather in our region. The best way to stay safe is to get ready before a storm comes. Start by making a plan with your family. Do you or your loved ones need special medications? Do you use a wheelchair or electrically powered medical equipment, like dialysis? Do you have a way to contact family, friends, and healthcare providers if your phone runs out of battery or doesn't have cell service? Is there a nearby place your child can go after school if you can't pick them up on time? Make a list of phone numbers and an emergency plan for your family and keep it on your refrigerator. Get ready for a long power outage or closed roads by knowing where to find all of the items you might need. Make sure you have an emergency supply of at least 3 days of food, water, and medicine if roads or pharmacies are closed. Plan for your pets too. Keep backup batteries charged and ready for medical equipment, phones, and lights. It can help to store things in an accessible place with any other emergency supplies. When cold weather settles in, stay warm and take these steps to avoid carbon monoxide poisoning. Never use a grill or gas generator indoors. The fumes are odorless and deadly. To stay warm, wear several layers of light clothing, stay together in one room with the door closed, close curtains, and cover windows and doors with blankets. Warn neighbors, friends, families, and community groups about carbon monoxide poisoning. During freezing weather, it's important to be able to recognize the signs of hypothermia. Symptoms include uncontrollable shivering, slow or unclear speech and confusion, feeling extremely tired, and stumbling. If you think someone is experiencing hypothermia, bring the person indoors or to a dry place protected from the wind. Remove wet clothing and cover the person with dry blankets. Check on loved ones and neighbors, especially if they are older or have special needs. Please share these tips with neighbors and loved ones. We are all safer together in an emergency.
How do we counter gun violence? A community-led violence intervention program called Urban Family is partnering with King County to help keep guns off the streets.
So I grew up in the Central District. I was once one of those youth, that was a product of my environment, and I got introduced to the streets at a young age. And, I kicked up a lot of dirt in the streets, but always had in the back of my head, like, this is not where I wanted to be. It took about 5 years after I actually really turned my life around before I had the opportunity to work with Urban Family and work with the youth in our community. But when that opportunity came, I jumped on it.
We focus on family support, youth programs, and neighborhood safety. 80% of our team used to be participants in one of our programs at some time or another.
It is our goal to create neighborhoods that are safe, connected, and cared for.
We have teams that walk the streets. We're at the schools. So we do safe passage, community violence intervention.
We're able to partner with the Seattle Seahawk organization to give away 3,000 lock boxes.
We have a peace camp coming up. Peace camp's a heavy lift. We're basically taking some of our communities and cities' highest risk youth that were either victims or perpetrators of gun violence and take them off the grid for a week.
We do cognitive behavior therapy so that the kids are learning to process their anger, learning to process their emotions so that they make better decisions. And then also, we remind the kids that they're just kids, that it's time to be a kid and have fun. So there's a lot of fun activities for them as well.
The real work is happening outside of camp. Camp is just a tool to help that long-term relational work.
It's not a magic wand, but it's definitely a strategy in the holistic transformation of our young people.
Which follows up with some job opportunities and some internships.
It's all part of the 100 Days of Peace, paired with the county's 100 Days of Action.
is not a job. You know, when you do this type of work, it's more of a lifestyle. When you're working with these youth, you're going to get those 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock a.m. calls like, hey man, I need you. And you know, you got to go. But when you finally see that breakthrough and that kid comes to you like, oh my God, you did so much for me. You changed my life. You changed the trajectory of how my life was going. That's what keeps me going. I'm like, okay, on to the next one. Let's do this for someone else.
What I'm most proud of is the fact that we have so many of the kids that have been in our program that are doing so well, that are now parents, that are now becoming doctors. They're teachers now on their way to being principals. Like to be in the work as long as I have and to see that outcome, knowing where they started, gives me the fuel I need to do this every day.
For the people who don't know about this work, like they should really look at it as a staple in the community. Law enforcement, counselors, this work is just as important as any of those other titles. And it's really making a difference.
What does it take to be a Metro mechanic? Some of the hybrid buses are pretty high tech. Here are some folks who work every day to make sure you get where you need to go.
You're not a rip. Is it neutral ground? Is the
The
last?
black and the blue and
The
black
black-
wires. I'm a mechanic.
So I think that's neutral ground.
I'm just starting out with King County Metro. I'm currently learning about all of the hybrid systems, learning about all the different systems on the coaches. I love it. Yeah, every day is a new day.
We have roughly 1,400 buses currently in inventory across the system. The need for new mechanics is huge for Metro.
Our main goal is to keep the coaches running so they can get passengers where they need to go.
I really like the camaraderie. Everybody is looking out for you. Everybody wants to support you. I was actually in nursing and in the medical field for the majority of my adult career. And I just woke up one day and just realized I didn't want to do that anymore. Oh, okay. At the time, my husband was actually in the diesel program and coming home and telling me about his day. And I was like, that sounds awesome. Like, that sounds like something that I would want to do. So I just went to school and I got my associate's degree in heavy diesel mechanics.
The job can be challenging. There is a lot of technology on the fleets.
Oh, so they're in line in this order. Okay.
One thing that's really cool about Metro is all of the troubleshooting, pretty much all the troubleshooting, all systems can be handled by a laptop nowadays.
Oh, there goes one. Loss of comms from MTS cooling pump.
We want to really provide opportunity for our folks to grow and succeed. For the mechanics, that means ongoing training as technology changes.
You can see it right here, see? When I get something that's troubleshoot and I fix it, that is a great day for me, so.
A good day for me is when I'm finishing up a big project and it fires up on the first try.
I've always said good mechanics have good jobs, and we're trying to attract good mechanics. So the one-day hiring event for candidates, we look at it as customer service.
We're going to complete all of the entire recruitment process in a single day. It's a lot more user-friendly than it was before. We know that once you've applied at Metro, you've also applied somewhere else, most probably. And we want all those talented folks coming to our facility.
Apply now, get in now. It does not matter if you get in exactly for the job you want. The room for growth and movement within King County is unparalleled.
Once a mechanic, it's always in your blood.
Go for it. Metro is an awesome place to work. I love it.
Do you love history? Have you ever wondered how the old Coleman School became the Northwest African American Museum? Well, it's quite a journey. Metro Transit is celebrating a journey with a Rooted in History bus stop.
Coleman School, the longest occupation of civil disobedience in the United States.
We chose Coleman School for a variety of reasons. First being, this is the longest nonviolence occupancy occurred here in this building.
We had very strong and passionate activists who came to this old Coleman School as the city was thinking to demo it and saying, no, let's hold on to this property. Let's make this our African American museum.
Michael Greenwood, Charlie James, Earl Denham, and Amari Tahir Garrett. They are the reason why this building is here. They are the reason why we were able to have the Northwest African American Museum. This was what, the 80s? They were, trying to build 90 through here. If you don't know what it does to a community to build a highway or a bridge, like, it totally separates a neighborhood. And so for those 4 men to come and take up space in a building that had no running water, no electricity, that's really powerful. And to see the community step in and really support them, they made sure that they had what they needed while they were making sure that we had what we needed.
The occupation was 8 years. And at the time, the Black historians that were coming together in community had in mind that they were beginning to collect for a museum, for an African American museum that they saw that they had vision for. So they've been waiting and waiting for this to happen over the years as they were amassing all this beautiful memorabilia that we currently hold in our archives. So fast forward through a lot of struggle to 2009, we have the African American Museum as it exists today.
So the art in that bus stop is essentially them. So it's an image of the building at that time, so people can really see and get an understanding of like where they were and what they were living through in those 8 years. It's also an image of them because they deserve their due.
Everyone benefits from this history. So we always say Black history is everyone's history, right? Black history is more than a month. All of that to say that we need this museum. We need this museum to thrive. And what's that going to take? So community coming together from the very beginning to establish it, and community being solid and keeping it open.
It's the perfect example of being able to do something in a way that'll change the course of history in a nonviolent structure.
Imagine being in foster care for most of your life, and then finding a sister and 2 awesome parents. Meet Abby and Emma, who are now living their best lives with the Forever family.
It's okay, we each have 1 finger. Put our fingers down really gentle. Like I said, we've always planned to foster. That was always part of our plans. It's nice with this because it's finally forever for both girls now.
We adopted Emma. It's been about 1.5 years now since it's been official.
Yeah. So she had been in care for the majority of her life. When she first came to us, it was so clear that she had this big, beautiful, wonderful, kind heart, and she just didn't quite know how to always show that side of herself. She was in fight or flight all the time. To be the ones that get to help her through that now and in the future is a really amazing thing.
I think it's been amazing to have the opportunity to also bring Abby into our family as well.
Yeah. At this point, I believe we were her 8th home.
We were.
Her 8th home in 4 years.
Yeah.
And she'd been in care most of her life. But the progress we've seen in Abby with Emma constantly kind of by her side in that big sister role, the growth that really both of them have made is just amazing.
All right, let's go. Ready, Abby?
Abby's 5, but she's only been walking for, what, a year?
Yeah, it'd be less than a year. I mean, 6 months ago, she was still kind of crawling on the steps to get down, and now she's alternating feet and running up and down them every single day.
Running on rough terrain. And
She really is just growing and shattering all ideas of what the doctors thought she would do. She has a few things going on. So she is deaf. She's hard of hearing. We were very lucky to get her into the deaf and hard of hearing school. So we're very excited about that because she's learning sign and we're learning sign. When we're all done here at the zoo looking at the animals, then what? But she also has KBG syndrome, which is super rare. And it affects her in a pretty wide variety of ways. We were very aware at the beginning that it's a spectrum, plus the other things that are going on. She has a G-tube, she's got some things going on with her eyes and her vision. And so all of that together, we knew that there was a chance that this wasn't just a forever in terms of we will always forever be family. It may be a forever of we will always be her main caretakers. And so we went into this, I think, with our eyes very open. And I think that maybe can be scary for some people, but for us it just felt really ready to do that.
Oh, there you go.
How life brought us here to,
We never imagined.
for us to find these two, has been just amazing. It's so worth it. As simple as that.
At the end of the day, I mean, wouldn't change it for anything.
Like one like there, one like there.
Looking for a fun day trip during the holidays? How about some island life? Celebrate the beauty, culture, and the community of Vashon Island.
Vashon Island is about the size of Manhattan, but 1/6,000th of the population. And instead of 21 bridges and 18 tunnels like Manhattan has, Vashon has 0 bridges and 0 tunnels. Traveling to Vashon on the ferry, which is the only way you can get here, it's like this big cleansing breath as you leave the city behind and come over here to this rural wonderland with rolling hills and beaches and country roads, just an arm's length away from a very large city.
The history of Vashon Island goes back to emerging from the glacier, 15,000 years ago. And probably 10,000 years ago, native people began to come to the island, and they were known as the Shawbopsh, or the Swiftwater people. The first settlers came here for logging, mining, making bricks, agriculture, and fishing. It was originally just a bunch of waterfront communities scattered around the shorelines of the island. And it was very difficult to get across the island because there were no roads. So the mosquito fleet was the glue that sort of held the island together. The Virginia 5, built in 1922, home ported out of Lizabula, was one of the most famous of the mosquito fleet boats. And the Vashon Heritage Museum just last week did a tour around the island on the Virginia 5. So she's still in service. In the early 20th century, the Japanese-American strawberry farmers become an important part of Vashon's story. We have one of the few remaining Japanese-American farms in the Mukai Farm and Garden. It is a must-see thing to do on Vashon Island.
Vashon Island has always been about the arts, going back all the way to like 1885 when they were holding Chautauqua meetings. There were lectures, music, and art classes, and from the very beginning, artists have flocked to Vashon. In 1949, there was an arts league formed by 3 artists that turned into what is now Vashon Center for the Arts.
Vashon's art scene is abundantly overflowing with artists and opportunities. More galleries, more artists per capita, I think, than anywhere else in the state. And Vashon Center for the Arts sits right in the center of it all. We have a gallery space that has, on average, about 275 artists will show their work all year long. We have an arts education program that teaches classes in all forms of media. We have a dance school and a beautiful theater where we book concerts, music, dance, comedy, with 100 to 110 performance days each year. We call it our Carnegie Hall of Vashon.
One of the things that has been a huge success is the rowing community on the island. We have easily the best rowing venue in Washington State, a harbor. It receives very little windage and there's very little boat traffic, and it's beautiful. I think the rowing sport really matches Vashon attitude. Being islanders, we've learned to work cooperatively, and that's the heart and soul of rowing. First Fridays on Vashon are really fun. All the galleries open their doors, and there's all kinds of things going on. It's really magical. Vashon has been a thrilling place to live. I have so many friends here. I can't walk through town and ever feel lonely. The island has a buoyant community spirit, a love for the environment, and artistic expression is everywhere. So I just feel filled up all the time I'm here.
Thanks for joining us for King County at your service. Check us out online at kingcounty.gov/KCTV. I'm Arlecier West, and we'll see you next time.